Okay, epoxy's had plenty of time to dry. I'd like to put a little plug in for the Navigator tips that I mentioned in one of my previous videos. These tips are all handmade in Japan, and I buy them directly from Japan. And what makes them so unique is not only are they handmade, they are color coded. The manufacturer uses a non-liquid resin between the layers, and each one is made with premium Japanese pigskin. They don't mushroom like most other tips do, and the humidity doesn't affect them as much as other tips do. I find them to be absolutely amazing tips. I know there are the K brand out there and the M brands out there, but I really prefer these, and you can buy these on my website snapshotcues.com. They're absolutely awesome. This is the soft. It's red. This is medium. It's the blue one. This is what we'll put on this shaft. This is the super soft. And this is the hard. So now that our epoxy's pretty well set, we're going to go ahead and face it off and install this tip. I like to take a piece of rough sandpaper on the end, a bit of a rough surface. Okay, now I'm going to rough up the tip. Be right back. What I mean by that is a piece of sandpaper. This is just a normal tip installation, just like any other shaft. I have my own technique, which I'm going to show you in just a second. Looks good. Another little thing I like to do is put a piece of tape around the end of the ferrule. It's not going to affect these ferrules. These tungsten ferrules are so hard you can't scratch them. You can't stain them. It's the best ferrule out there. But it's just a habit with me. If I'm doing a tip job on a regular ferrule, I always like to protect the ferrule with a piece of tape. And then I'll come back and score the end of the tenon a few times. And this is my technique installing a tip. What I have here is just a concave live center, but this is a small concave live center. That's all it is. Normally goes in this way, small concave. I put it in backwards, so that I can keep pressure applied to the tip when I'm shaving it. So let's go ahead and glue this up. I've got pressure applied to it. Clean off the glue. Take off the tape. tried a lot of techniques, but I like this one the best. That's the tricky part. I'm going to change my tool bit. My tip chafer bit. Like I say, other people have their techniques. This is mine. Regular old 80 grit sandpaper. Rough it up. Got a 220 right here. If you notice, I'm putting 220 on that ferrule, not hurting it a bit. A little bit of 400. Finish it off with a 600. Don't worry about this. We'll come back to that when we sand the shaft down. And my final step is some magic polish. I call it magic polish. It's a secret. And what it does, it just polishes that tip right up, burnishes it nicely, and works great on regular ferrules too. So there's our tip installation. Next step is to bring the shaft, move it down so I can start tapering it and sanding it. That's a long, tedious job, but we'll get started in a few minutes.